Hey friends, welcome back to the Polish Potager. I am Stephanie. If you are new here, I garden in a very small space. I do small space and vertical gardening a lot, and I'm in mid-Michigan, and my growing zone is 6A. Most of Michigan is a little bit colder, but I am near one of the edges of water, which kind of creates this little microclimate for me, which is nice because I can kind of get away with overwintering some things that maybe you couldn't if you were more in the middle of Michigan. So today I am going through all of my herbs. Yeah, not my herb seeds, my herb seeds. So back behind me, you can see I've got a dresser there. I don't know if you can see it right there, right there. And I sort all my seeds by groupings. And yesterday I went through and filed all last year's seeds. I filed some new seeds that I'd randomly bought. Also, if you're a gardener, you understand I filed the seeds that were in my bedroom and the end table, the ones that I'd stuck in purses and tucked on different tables and baskets throughout my house. I went around the house, collected all my random seeds, brought them all down here, filed them along with all the seeds I had laying all over this room. And now I'm ready to go through and do inventory of what seeds I have, what I need, because I want to go ahead and get my seed orders in pretty soon before seed companies start running out of a variety that I really like. At this point, I've been gardening for 5, maybe 6 years, and I have a lot of seeds. So there's not many things that are must-haves for me, which means I like to buy new varieties. And new cool varieties tend to go quicker than the old favorites. So I need to do inventory. So today I'm gonna do herbs. I'll do a couple more videos going through the rest of the different classifications and drawers in my dresser. But today I'm going through herbs like this. This is the sandwich making set from Melissa and Doug. This makes a very good herb seed holder now that my kids are too big for play food. So let me show you what I'm not gonna grow. Okay, show you is a bad word. I'm just gonna list off my list. I made a list. Here's my list. I like lists. I like checking things off. I like looking at them. They keep my mind organized. But here are some herbs that you might wanna grow, but that I am not gonna grow this year. The first one is cilantro. My family does not like the taste of cilantro. I guess my husband might, but I don't ever cook with it. My kids don't like it. Cilantro is also the herb that the seeds become coriander. So if you wanted to have coriander or dried cilantro leaves in your kitchen, you might want to grow that. The next couple, feverfew, chamomile, sage, oregano, and thyme. I'm not going to grow those this year. They are perennial here for me in Michigan, in my little microclimate. And I have very well established patches of those already out in my herb garden. I don't need to start any new ones there. Now, that's not to say that if I get shopping on the seed sites and find a cool new thyme that I might not start one, but I don't need any of those right now. I'm also not going to start any bergamot. Bergamot is kind of bee balm. It's Monarda. It's in that same family. And it's used for teas and things medicinal. I don't have any need for it. We're not giant tea drinkers. I have chamomile already for tea. I think I'm just going to let that one go this year. And then there's 3 more that I have seeds for that I've tried to grow in the past. I personally have not been successful. I don't want to go out there and blanket statement that these are hard to grow seeds. I have struggled growing these from seed. Cumin, comfrey, and tarragon. Tarragon comes in Russian or French. French is the culinary one that's a little bit more flavorful. Russian can be a little bit more bitter. Those are ones that I would like to grow one day. This is not the year for it. This is not the year for things that are hard for me. So that leaves me with 8 herbs that I'm gonna grow and an honorable mention. Okay, number 8, rosemary. I do have to regrow rosemary every year. If we have a very mild winter, my rosemary might make it, but usually not. So I have 2 choices. One, I can dig it up in the fall and bring it in the house, which I don't like to do because I don't like to bring pots into the house that have been outside. They can bring bugs in there. You don't know what's in the soil. I don't want to introduce any of that kind of stuff into my house for the winter. 2, I have a lot of animals. They dig at things. Everything in here is usually safe because it's closed off, but I kind of go on like a hibernation where I hide and don't do any of this kind of stuff. Once the garden's done for the year, I don't want to keep track. I'll remember to come down and check on this rosemary. I've tried that before. It's always dried out and died. So I don't bring them in. I just regrow rosemary every year. Now, one day, if I get a greenhouse up, I have thoughts of putting a small greenhouse in the back. If that ever happens, then maybe this would be different. But for now, I regrow rosemary every year from seed, or if my seeds fail, I go to the garden store and I buy one or 3, let's be honest. Number 7, I grow chives. I'm doing 2 different kinds of chives. I thought I had the seeds right here, but maybe I don't. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do a regular chive and then these garlic chives. And we use chive all the time in cooking. I love being able to go outside and clip off chives to add to recipes. I do have some chive outside already, but my garlic chive patch died off pretty good, and my regular chive patch is not very big, and it's kind of in an area where it can't get much bigger. So I want to start some new ones and relocate them somewhere else. So I'm going to grow chive this year. Catnip and catgrass. So I did a little research on this because there's a lot of things that say cat in the name, and I wanted to know for sure what I was getting into. You can get catnip, you can get catmint, and you can get catgrass. All of them fine for your felines. The catgrasses look like, this is a variegated version where it's got different colors. There's one that's just all green too. You can grow these and then harvest them off and give them to your cats. They are good for their guts, which is why I'm going to grow them this year. I'm trying to regulate my internal workings of my cats. I've got a cat with food allergies because of course I do, right? And he gets special food and he has some kind of gut problems. So I'm gonna give him a little bit of grass. I'm also going to grow catnip, which between catnip and catmint, catnip is the stronger crazy one. I don't know how to explain this really. It's got a stronger effect on your cats than catmint. Catmint is milder. They both contain the chemical that makes cats get all happy and high. However, catnip is stronger. Also, the catnip plant is a little bit bigger, a little bit taller. It's got white flowers, whereas catmint can be a little more sprawling. However, catnip and catmint both grow like a mint plant. If you do not know, mint plants grow by runners under the ground. They're not invasive technically, but those runners, once they get into your ground, can be hard to get out. So if you ever want to move that patch somewhere else, so I would advise you to grow anything in the mint family, including catnip, in containers. So I will be doing containers of catnip, and I will be doing catgrass as well this year. I'll save the mint for a different year. Number 5, I'm gonna grow lavender. I try lavender every year to varying degrees of success. I have a small lavender patch. It is overshadowed by things where it's at. I'm gonna try and establish it somewhere else in my yard and see if it does better there. Number 4 is marjoram. I have grown marjoram twice now. I don't know if a healthy patch will make it through my winter or not technically. I thought that it would, but it didn't. But I had it in containers where they weren't very well protected. It's a beautiful, beautiful plant. It also can be used culinary. I am gonna go ahead and get a patch of this established somewhere where it's a little bit more protected and see if I can't get it to overwinter. So that's marjoram. Number 3 is basil. I have got a bajillion basils. I really love the way basil looks in the garden. I love walking by and touching it and smelling my hands. I love to make all kinds of things with it. So I have got several different basils. So basic basil, Genovese is pretty much the standard. If you want just plain green basil, also in the same thing, Italian large leaf. These 2 I will grow every year. I just start as many as I can and throw them all over the place. Tuck them in places in between plants. I also like to have a purple one. I have these 2 right now, purple ruffles, and then this one's amaretto. And I don't know, I just like that if I'm gonna put some basil into something, I can do it with both colors because it's pretty. It's got a little bit of can I say a darker taste? Will you understand that? I don't know if I'm explaining myself well. It's a little bit not as sweet, a little bit darker, a little bit more. I'm just gonna say dark 100 times. So some people don't care for it as much as regular. I also have this funny lettuce leaf basil. I have grown this once. I probably won't grow this one this year. It gets really big leaves, which you could use if you are a huge basil fan. You could use these to make like lettuce wraps with a basil leaf. We don't love basil that much and that big of a dose. That's just too much basil in one dish, I think. I have saved seeds for lemon basil, which I like to have in the garden too. This is fun. And then I've got 3 here that you can grow. They all have like a more savory, like licoricey, darker kind of flavor as well. And I grow them for flowers, honestly, for the pollinators. Holy basil, this Tulsi basil, I grew this last year. I loved it. It was gorgeous. It's got really pretty purple, stem is purple, and then the little flowers, gorgeous. Uh-oh, someone's walking by my house. The Paw Patrol is mad. This one is an African version. I'm not a huge fan of it. I probably won't grow it again. And then I've got this Siam Queen, which I'm going to try again. I grew this, but it didn't get really pretty flowers, but I'm willing to give it another chance because it looks like it should. It looks like it should have really pretty dark stems and big flowers. Bumblebees should love this, right? So I'm going to try Siam Queen. I'm going to do more holy basil. I'm going to do lemon. I'm going to hold off on the lettuce leaf. I'm going to do my green ones, Genovese, and you pick which one of these should I do. Tell me in a comment. Purple Ruffles basil versus amaretto basil. I'll tell you what they say. Let's see. Purple Ruffles is more heat tolerant and doesn't bolt as fast. Ooh. Leaves are jagged with deep purple with a green tinge, making them a showstopper. Basil remains purple when cooked. That is not usual. Most things that are colored, when you cook them, they lose their color. It's most amazing when eaten fresh, used just like sweet basil or Genovese. This one, the amaretto, says one of the most fragrant, easy to grow, abundant plants. Handsome, tall purple stems, glossy bicolor veins, and amethyst flower spikes. Ooh, it's a spicy combination of mint and licorice, and it looks like it would be very good in bouquets. A little more decorative, a little bit more edible. You pick. Which one? Amaretto, Purple Ruffles. Go. And then the last two that I'm going to grow in my garden are my favorites. I grow them every single year. I use them the most. And if you're trying to think of what you should grow in your garden, pick the thing you're going to use the most of. Parsley, dill. I dry both parsley and dill and use them fresh as much as I can. We put parsley in almost everything, and then I dry it because we have a homemade dill, This is homemade dill. A homemade ranch dressing that we make. I make homemade mayonnaise and we combine it with some things, and dried parsley and dried dill are both in there. So I dry the dill and the parsley as much as I can. I also use the dill for things like cucumbers or anything pickled, and we use parsley in salads, on meat, everywhere. So those two my family uses a ton. So I will put dill and parsley plants in the ground every year. Parsley is a biannual, so it will grow the first year. It'll come back and grow the second year, and the second year it will shoot up flowers, spikes to make its seeds. So you can harvest off it the first and the second year. The third year it might come back a little bit, or some seeds might have dropped to make some more grow. So you can kind of get a parsley bunch going. But I usually start plants because I can't count on that. I don't know for sure that I'm going to get new parsley popping up where the old parsley was. So I do sow new parsley plants every year just in case, because I would just be so sad if I didn't have parsley. Dill, I will start a couple inside, but dill works better for me direct sown outside. So I'll throw those outside anywhere I got an open patch of space and just let some dill kind of grow wherever it goes. All right, so those are my seeds. Now I don't have rosemary. I don't have catnip. I don't have, that's it. That's the only ones I don't have. So I need to go shopping for, I need to write this down. Listen, lists are important. Rosemary and catnip on my list. Oh, I forgot. Honorable mention. This is technically not necessarily an herb, but I use it kind of like an herb. Bunching onions. I am going to grow a new patch of bunching onions. If you do not have a patch of bunching onions, grow you some. One, they're incredibly easy to grow. They grow so easy. I will not plant these in the house. I will just throw them outside in the spring. As soon as I can work my soil, I'll find a spot. I have had the same group of bunching onions since I started gardening. It's one of the very first things I was successful at growing. I started it in a raised bed, and every year it would send up new shoots. Now last year, I had a lot of older ones, and the older ones, what happens is they get like bigger around and they get tougher and they've got some kind of mucusy thing. They're not cool. They're not cool. They're old. You want the nice tender young ones. So right now that patch is very old. I'm probably going to yank it all up, feed it to the chickens, start myself a brand new patch. But they went for 5 or 6 years. I can't tell you how many times I go out and cut onions off this. It's beautiful. Beautiful. All right. There's my list. If you think I'm missing an herb, tell me. And go and vote for which purple basil I should go. And I will be back next time. Let's go greens. Early greens. Early greens, cauliflowers, cabbage, all that good stuff next time. All right. Have a great day. And I will talk to you soon.